and I'm going live on Facebook too. But here's the deal. I'm only going to be able to connect with the people that are on here. So give me a shout in the chat. Say hi. Let me know who is here. And my computer is freaking out. Hello, hello, hello. Guys, do me a favor. For some reason, it's all coming up unknown. So it's not telling me who's. You say hi to me in the chat. Definitely say your name too, so I know it's you. And if you're watching on Facebook, hello. I'm not sure why I'm streaming it, since I'm going to go a little bit heavy duty tonight, but I just decided to let it all be out there. And normally on a webinar, hi, Ann, David, hello, hello, hello. Normally on a webinar, especially a webinar gone wild, I have a whole crew and we hang out and we have a lot of fun. And we are going to have a lot of fun. It says, Ray says, I registered and a tab said registration expired. So I'm going to say try again. Try again. Anybody else have a registration challenge? It asked me to put a password on this time, so I did for the first time. And okay, good, you're on. Good, 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 good. So like I said, normally I would crew over here and we would be laughing and cackling and kind of going wild by now, but tonight I want to cover some stuff. And I want to be able to interact with folks, and I want to share some things that I think are really profound. So first of all, if we haven't met before, my name's Diane Hockman. I've been in the home business industry since 1999, so it's over 20 years now. And I've seen it all. I have absolutely, totally, and completely seen it all. I have literally accosted people in supermarket parking lots trying to sell them diet pills and lotions and potions and stuff. I have hung signs on poles and gotten stopped by the cops. I have dialed strangers and had them yell profanities at me. I have, you know, learned some skills that have taken me to the peaks. I have stood on stages in front of as many as $15,000, different in dark days too. And I've been really thinking, because I haven't been out. Yeah, I've done some lives and this and that, but it's been a couple of years since I've done any webinars. It's been, other than for other entities, it's been a while since I've done much. And I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. But I started thinking, I've been called many times the queen of attraction marketing. I had a conversation with my friend Mike Dillard today, who started the modern movement of attraction marketing, brought it to the forefront. My mentor, Joe Schroeder, who was the guy who created affiliate programs and info product up many, many, many moons ago. And I realized after conversations and after searching my soul and after thinking about it a lot, it was never attraction marketing for me. Okay, it was attraction marketing, the idea, the concept. And by the way, if you're on Facebook, unfortunately, I can't, maybe I'll look in a few minutes, but right now I'm focusing in on the people that are on the actual webinar. And you actually can register DianeHockman.com/webinar. I'd love to have you over here so that I can have you in the chat. And for some reason, like I said, it's all coming up unknown. The only person I can see is Michael and Carrie, and everybody else says unknown. So I don't know who's here. But I realized attraction marketing in and of itself is just getting people to come to you. Okay. And getting people to come to you is cool. Okay, is cool. And that's how I got started, is I saw and people to you. And I knew that I was afraid to go to people. I hated prospecting and soliciting. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I always felt weird. I did not like it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying you don't need to learn how to do it. I'm not saying it's not necessary, especially when you're beginning, but I hated it. I always hated it. And I read an ad and it said, you can get people to come to you. And that really turned me on because I knew if people were coming to me, if it were me up, if people were messaging me, if people were emailing me today on Facebook, people reaching out to me, like I had several people do today. I knew that if people came to me, I could service them great. I also knew that if I was going to them, I had this awkward, kind of sick to my stomach feeling. And I've been criticized over the years. And by the way, I'm going to let it all hang out tonight because I'm just going to say what I have to say tonight. And if people want to unsubscribe, people don't want to come to the next webinar, people don't like what I say, that's your choice. But I'm going to get as real as it gets for 20 years of doing this. I started to look at it and I started to really pick it apart. And I started to think about what is it truly that has carried me through? What has kept me alive? What has been my mission? And I watch so many people wipe out. I watch so many people spend a lot of money and just not get anywhere. I watch so many people for year in and year out, not turning a profit. And anybody who knows me knows I've turned a profit since the beginning. It wasn't always a lot, but I've always put profit first. For learning about today, people didn't understand what an audience was back at the time. And I realized, especially after a conversation with a particular marketer, I realized it wasn't attraction marketing that turned me on so much. Because I look now and I watch as the marketplace changes and moves, etc. It's not attraction marketing. It's certainly not going on Facebook and social media and playing footsie. I don't message people on Facebook. I haven't prospected a person in probably 15 years. It was the idea of having a list. And there is not one truly successful marketer that I know that has stood the test of time that hasn't either built a list or amassed a large audience. And when I say list, it can be an email list, it can be a bot on Facebook, it can be a group, some place, somewhere where you have a large number of people where you can communicate all at once, where you can all at once, so that you can gain the kind of leverage that you need to make your business work. Because if you don't, then what happens is you can never take that break. You can never walk away. And I'm going to share a story tonight. You can never, you're just constantly on. Ta-da! I just said to you, I haven't done a webinar in forever. I haven't been out there in forever. Yeah, I post stuff and maybe you didn't realize, that I was quiet. Maybe you didn't see what was going on. But the truth is, I haven't really created anything in years. Now that you might be like, well, what am I listening to you for then? Wait, let me take a quick sip. By the way, I'm going to tell you about the day from hell in a minute. In fact, let's go on a sidebar to the day from hell. So first, the oven, like the whatchamacallit, the burner thing. The boiler works, but the oven doesn't work. So that goes wrong. Then last night, all of a sudden, my phone pops up and it says SIM card not compatible, not connected to network. My SIM card doesn't work. Then Windows decides to update, and all of a sudden, my computer's locking up like crazy. After I finally fixed it, I got a new computer, and I realized there was a conflict between Microsoft Explorer and Chrome and all this stuff. I figure it all out. I get it all working. It's working fine. It's working great. Because my old computer, the sound card went. So my old computer works great, except for the sound card can't do a webinar, can't go live. So I get a new computer and I'm having a problem with it. So I get it all working fine. And then Windows updates and voila, Microsoft Edge decided to update somehow. And the next thing you know, they're up again. So I'm on with T-Mobile for like 2 hours as they're checking all this other stuff to finally decide I need a new SIM card. Ta-da, you're brilliant. You know, I need a new SIM card, trying to figure out my oven, trying to figure out this. All this stuff is going on, drama all over the place. And I'm sitting here trying to get ready for my first webinar out in a long time. So I'm just like freaking out. And I'm talking to my friend Ray, and I'm like, I don't know, Ray, maybe I should cancel it. I don't know. And he's like, you're not going to cancel it. You're not going to stop. You're not going to do this because you have to teach this stuff to the people. So when you think the average home business marketer is busy on a treadmill, on a hamster wheel, trying to run after people. It's all I get all day. Just go on LinkedIn for 2 minutes and it's like people messaging you with these weird, awkward messages. And I get people on Facebook messaging you with these weird, awkward messages. And I'm not knocking people. Please be clear. I'm not knocking people because we all tried, we all started. I did it too. But people aren't learning over time how to keep databases, how to have that audience to speak to, how to, and they think it's outside of them because it's been very overcomplicated. And I just don't believe, I don't believe in having a home business. The reason I started my home business was to be with my kids. My kids are now 24 and 27. Wow. I'm only 40. So I don't know how that works. They're 24 and 27. They're grown-up women, right? I started it so that I could be with them. And now that I'm at this place, I don't want to be working 12 hours a day trying to grind to make a living. And I don't think you do either. And the poop hit the fan when COVID came because people started to realize where they were. And yes, some of the companies have done really well, but a lot of people started to realize if the economy drops out, and it still may, and I pray it doesn't for everybody, but if the economy drops out, people aren't going to be able to afford vitamins and supplements and lotions and potions. People aren't going to be able to do this type of stuff. And you're going to need more traction or before to get the same amount of business than you got before. And most people are at a loss and couldn't do it if they wanted to because they have no way to mass communicate. Somebody remind me, and I'll put up video footage of me in 2011, I think it was, at an event, speaking about the 4 components you need to become hyper successful in your business. And one of them was that you need to be able to mass present. If you can't mass present, if you can't get a number of people together at once, if you have no way to invite everybody to hear what's going on, if you just came back from convention and you have a new product and you have to dial and email and message every single person one by one by one by one by one, if you have no way to reach out to large numbers of people at a time, it's a problem. And if you don't have a budget to advertise, and I don't really advertise, maybe I will, maybe I won't, I do now and again. Sometimes when I talk about not advertising, somebody goes, I saw you run an ad. Yeah, once in a while I run an ad. But if you're not an ad expert, if you're not a technological wonder, I'm not. I'm like that technological idiot. In fact, I forgot to record this poop. I guess I'll rip it off Facebook. See? If you're not somebody who really knows the ins and outs of all of this stuff, where are you left? Where are you left? The only last bastion is living the list life, and that is my passion. So let me break this down. A couple years ago, my marriage broke up. Most everybody knows. I don't think it's a big secret. Every once in a while, somebody doesn't know. And that was a very, 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 very difficult thing for me. emotionally, personally. And then also, let's face it, my whole persona in business was this family, all about the family. Now my family didn't exist anymore. So not only was I heartbroken and devastated and all this other stuff, but I was embarrassed. And I spent a lot of time on the couch in my pajamas. In fact, there was probably a 6-month period of time where I was alone. My daughter ended up coming home from Australia, but I was alone. And I had nothing to say. I had no desire to go out and prospect, obviously. I had to go out and, ta-da, here I am. I didn't want anybody to see me. I didn't want anybody to know what was going on in my life. I was a mess. I was a mascara smeared mess of a lump of a woman. And everybody goes through a dark day, whether you recently lost your job due to COVID, whether a parent died. I know so many people have had a parent die and it's really wrecked them up. I have a beautiful friend that just lost her husband. And I think he's like 50 years old. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know what's going to happen. And I certainly didn't know that was going to happen, but it did. And the only way I survived, in fact, so many people told me they didn't even know anything happened. I didn't come out. I hid for 6 months, literally 6 months. I came out as little as humanly possible. Nobody even knew I was gone. And then I came out, and then I had a bad experience. And then I went another 6 months. And it was a long, drawn-out process. And if I didn't have that list, that email list that I built, and I didn't do anything fancy, and it wasn't a big list, and it wasn't, anything that any single one of you couldn't do starting today, if I hadn't had that list, I would have been in trouble because I had no other, that was my income. I would have been in trouble, right? And if I hadn't, and creating things that I could recycle, I would have drowned. It would have been done. I would have been wiped out. And that's what I see is people go, it's like a roller coaster ride. And guys, I know it's all supposed to be puppy dogs and rainbows and unicorns in the home business industry, and you make $10,000 a month, and then you become a 7-figure earner, and it's all magical. Well, guys, I've done it all. I've driven $100,000 cars, and I've sipped out of a coconut literally from the beaches of the world. And I've hung out with the creme de la creme. I've done all of it. I've been backstage at big concerts and met celebrities and sipped the finest wine. And it's wonderful. But it doesn't save your ass when push comes to shove. It's a fantasy. And I watched in my career how many times things have collapsed for different people. My business didn't collapse. I kept it alive. I've watched things happen to people, and they had not built this. And this has always been my passion. Okay. This has been my passion, is teaching this to people, because it's not complicated. It is not hard. It is not terribly technical. There isn't one of you that I couldn't teach how to run an autoresponder in a day. And now the company that I use just came out with a free option. There's nothing that you don't know that I couldn't teach you. And by what I'm doing, what I'm working on, there's nothing to offer you. If you are interested in this, if this turns you on and you want to reach out to me, I'll talk to you about what I'm putting together. But if I hadn't done this stuff day in and day out consistently over those years, I would have been done. I would have been done, gone. You would have never seen me again. And now, a couple years later, I finally feel like it's time to say something. I finally feel like my passion is coming back. I finally feel like after conversations with different incredible friends and mentors and people that I respect, I realized what it is. That it's what I call living the list life. Guys, do you realize that I traveled so much during this downtime because I was so miserable? I think that during 2018, I think it might have been 2017, I don't remember what year it was. I know I spent over 60 days on cruise ships. And I was able to run my business and continue to earn this income from a cruise ship. I was able to do it from the road. I was able to do it from the couch crying. I was able to do it watching 7 seasons worth of the Gilmore Girls. I don't really watch TV, and I watched so much TV during that time period. It was crazy. I could do it hanging from my toes upside down. It takes me less than an hour a business that is more profitable than most people could ever even imagine. And am I making, am I rah-rah on you or making claims or any of that? No. Is my income less? Because I like to be just straight, guys. Aren't you tired? Is my income less than it was? Yes. Is it more than it used to be? Yes. Will it be more again? Yes. Will it go down again at some future date? Probably. The point is, can you sustain if you don't put in a lot of hours? Because 90 days, you could put this together and then sustain it. You could propel it, you could create it, you could propel it, and then you could sustain it. And then that would give you the freedom and the flexibility to continue to do this day in and day out, but in very, very, very simple ways. Look, I don't know if anybody has any questions. It's over here in the webinar with me, and maybe I'll check the live over there, but we all have to get nimble right now. And by the way, I know I said this webinar go wild. Next time, if you want to be on the webinar and you want to come on and be part of the posse, I like to have a lot of fun. I can't do this stuffy, weird stuff. I have things to sell you. You want to buy something? I have something to sell you. I have lots of things to sell you. I'll sell you anything you want. But it's boring. It's no fun. We have to be nimble. We have to be lighter. The longer we separate ourselves from who we are, trying to be something that we think we're supposed to be, to please a bunch of people that we don't even know, the longer it's going to take us to get to where we want to go. I realized over the course of this time that I was spending my days trying to please a million people that when push came to shove, weren't there. That I was gone. Half the people didn't even notice I was gone. I put out 2 posts a day on Facebook. Nobody even noticed. Nobody even knew there was anything wrong with me except for a few close people. So when we sit and we think, can I write this? Will people be upset? Can I write this? And by the way, I'm not talking about all this political stuff right now. That's a whole other story. I wouldn't get into that. That's just me. You do what you want. But, there's a lot of angry people out there right now, and angry don't make money. Write that down. Angry don't make money. Okay, fun, laugh, good time, sense of humor. You got a sense of humor about a mask. You got a sense of humor about politics. Great. But angry don't make money. Angry ain't profitable. Okay, it's not profitable, which is a big part of why I didn't come out for a while. I was sad. I was everything under the sun. I was like a ball of emotion. And I didn't know whether I was going to laugh or going to cry at any given time. So I couldn't come out and serve everybody. How could I serve you when I was trying to serve myself? And yet, here I am. And yet, I'm still a top earner at a major company. And yet, with doing not that much for several years. And yet, the residual income still comes. And yet, the visibility is still there. I can, do a webinar, and there's not 4 million people here, but I got some people here. I got some response. I didn't even really try. So if the rug gets pulled out from under you tomorrow, what do you got? Do you have an insurance policy in your back pocket? Do you have a list? Do you have an audience? And it doesn't have to be this weird sales thing. And that's what we're going to delve into in the weeks to come as I do these webinars and have a posse out. We sit and we take a look at, you know, how simple it can be. People constantly ask me questions, and I love when we do Q&A, and we will do them. Because the questions that people have are objections that they're creating in themselves. It took me a little while to learn it. It's objections that you're creating in yourselves. It's fears that you have about something out there that doesn't exist. The fears about building it, fears that you have about. Okay, I was talking today with a good friend, and I said, I'm afraid to build the thing that I need to build now, you know, because I've never done it before. And what if this? And what if that? And what if this? And what if? What if the world ends tomorrow? What if we all get a virus? What if there's a pandemic? What if there's, you know, we don't know. What I know is that there's people, Carrie, I'd love to have you on. There's people that need to learn this. And here's what's really cool. A lot of people get weird because somebody makes a graphic, right, in their company, and then everybody takes it and uses it. And then you're like, they all took my promotion, or somebody writes something, or somebody does something. Everybody like sits and worries about it. If I teach you how to do this, you're not competing with me in any way, because it's your voice, it's your audience, it's your message to your people. There's no competition whatsoever. And that's what my mentor taught me. He said, no, Diane, he goes, they can knock you off, but they can't do you. They can knock you off, but they can't do you. So I don't have to worry about teaching what I know to all other people out there, the moms that want to be home with their kids, the people that want to be free, the ladies who maybe have a life transition like me, the men who have a life transition, the people who lose a loved one. You know, I don't have to worry about creating an environment and teaching them these skills, because the skills are yours. It's your voice. It's your everything. And, you know, I used to do these webinars, and I mean, I had a couple of people reach out. Legendary, because we would get so freaking silly. Okay, there was one class we did where we got into, you guys know those magic markers that smell like flavors, you know, they smell like orange and grape and stuff. You get them when you were kids. I call them smelly markers. And we created a whole marketing campaign. We were practicing learning marketing campaigns, and I think funnels or something. And we created it around smelly marketers. And they dubbed themselves the SMS, the Smelly Marketer Society. And that thing has gone on. It's like, I don't know, it's like 8 years later, and people still use hashtag SMS because of the silliness. We have so many jokes about favorite candies and about big pose and all of this insanity, because learning marketing can be fun, and loving people and showing them what you have for them can be fun. And it doesn't have to be this weird convincing game. It can be a game of attraction, a game of the list life, where you invite them to a list instead of invite them to look at your deal, and you get them involved in what's going on and who you are. And then they buy in because they want to be with you. People always ask me about lead generation and the way I generate leads in my list. My list is very small in comparison to so many of my colleagues, but my list is so effective because there's nobody on my list that doesn't know me. So there's nobody on my list that doesn't, you know, maybe they trust me, maybe they don't. I can't say that they do. But generally speaking, everybody that's on there, I can be me because they decided to hang out with me. I don't have to put on this false thing. I don't have to do this weirdness. And guys, it's no different than stores were for years. You went to a certain coffee shop because you liked the personality of the people that ran it. You went to the certain diner or the restaurant where you felt good, where you felt comfortable, where you felt like they were your people. What if you decided to put yourself out there so that your people could find you? It's not that hard. And here's what's crazy. My people are not your people, are not Tom's people and Dylan's people and whoever's people, because everybody attracts their own people when they decide to show who they are. So that's what's going on. I'm going to be out on a very regular basis now. I'm back. I'm going to bring people on. We're going to have fun. Actually, sometimes I'll sell something, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll mumble about something. Like if we're talking about autoresponders, I'll tell you where to get an autoresponder, and I'd appreciate your business. But I want you to promote it and share it, not because it's an affiliate program or your MLM or because you're going to make a buck. I want you to do it because it could help someone. I want you to do it because it's a message that's sustainable in this new decade. It's a message that's sustainable. We may be stuck at home for a long time. We may be able to go out. We may be able to do a lot of things. But everybody seems to think that now, that messaging everybody on Facebook, I'm not knocking anybody or anything, and a lot of my friends teach this, and there's nothing wrong with it. Please do not misunderstand me. But there has to be something more than just soliciting people. And I've been saying this for 15 years. There's more than just soliciting people and running through person after person after person. People aren't understanding depth of relationship, follow up in a proper way, in a leveraged way. And there's just so much that I want to give you guys. So that's it. It's not so wild tonight. It's just the plain old truth tonight about how I survived, how I lasted, how I weathered the winter. Many people know that I was fortunate enough to spend time with Jim Rohn before he passed. I got to spend quite a bit of time with Jim. And I certainly learned from him from afar and also on his books and tapes. And Jim Rohn taught us winter must come. This is a winter in society right now. I mean, we've never seen times like this. We have a virus, we have social unrest, we have uprisings, we have riots, we have, we have in this country and around the world, right? We have a lot going on. This is winter. But the beautiful thing about winter, and the thing that kept me alive on that freaking couch, that dark winter, and it was the winter, so it was apropos. But the thing that kept me alive was knowing that after winter comes spring. But here's what has to happen in spring. You must sow your seeds. You must plant. You must prepare. Otherwise, you can pick off, and this is what happens in the industry. There's low-hanging fruit, and people pick the fruit in the summer, and it's like, oh, there's an apple, and there's a pear, and there's this, and they're well-fed for a while. But then winter comes again. Prepared, you haven't sowed, and you haven't harvested, and you haven't stored, right, what you grew. That's what I did. I was able to eat off what I stored. The people, the content, all the things that I did, I was preparing without even realizing it, because I just had a habitual practice in my business and my zero-level marketing and all the lessons that I teach, which we'll teach again now. I was able to eat off of what I stored for winter. Guys, spring's going to come next. It has to in society. But winter's going to come. And when push comes to shove, it's your network. It's your network. How many people do you know? How many people trust you? The speed of trust. How many people listen to you? How many people are influenced by you? Can you do that without having to tap dance every day for them? Think about it. Look around. You have to tap dance every day to keep them motivated. Like yesterday, I was interviewed in a podcast, and I said, how do you keep people motivated? I said, I don't. People are either motivated or they're not motivated. I might be able to inspire someone. I may be able to tell them my story. I may be able to lift my voice up and give them something that makes them go, I can do this too, but I can't motivate you or anyone else. You don't motivate people. You don't convince people. You can artificially motivate people. You can run a promotion. We all have. You can give away a prize. You can have people jump through hoops. You can give away cash. It doesn't sustain. What sustains is relationships, trust, a library of content that you can reuse and recycle, and words and thoughts and ideas and love. And love. That's all there is. And there's always going to be a product to sell. Guys, we're merchants. Get that? We're merchants. There's always a product to sell. There's always something new out there. That's never the problem. Everybody's like so worried about the products and the this. And it's never a problem. There's always something to sell. The question is, do you have anybody to sell it to? There's always something to market. Do you have anybody to market it to? Do you have anybody that's listening to you? Do you have any skills behind it? Can you communicate? Can you write? Can you put, you know, it's not pen to paper, it's finger to keyboard and say something? Can you communicate through content and reuse it again and again and again? Can you cause people to feel you all around them, creating an environment that makes them feel stable, like training wheels, so they can get started and move down the road? That's what it is. And in the weeks to come, we're just going to have some fun. So I hope some of you guys want to come hang out. I hope I get a whole crew over here, like the Brady Bunch, the whole panel, the Peanut Gallery. Although I just learned the Peanut Gallery is not a good thing to say. I don't know. My kids inform me of these things, you know, phrases I've said my whole life. They tell me now I shouldn't say them anymore. So I'll be a good kid and try not to. But who are you? What do you have to say? Who are you here to help? And what do you want to sell them? And guys, you don't have to be madly in love with what you're selling. You just have to have something that's quality, that serves you. And that's it. So I'm going to go. Thank you for coming down. If you were on Facebook, I'll catch what you guys said after. If anybody here in the webinar has anything to say it now or forever hold your peace. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Reach out to me. I'm going to be doing workshops, List Life workshops. I'm going to have some other cool things for you guys. And they're harping on it because, quite frankly, your business depends upon it. It really, really does. And you don't have to be Hemingway to write a note to someone. You don't have to be, and if you know how to talk to your mom, your best friend, or your kids, you know how to talk to a list. Trust me, you do. All right. I'll see you guys later. Everybody have a great night, and thank you for being here. I'll see you guys later. Take care.